Hello and welcome to this edition of the Magical Human Show, where we are on the precipice of the new moon in Alder and the solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse in Aries, and Neptune moving into Aries for the first time, and Venus has gone into Pisces today. So there's a lot going on, isn't there, June? This is my colleague, June. Hello, June.
Hey, yes, we're feeling it, right? It's people are saying a lot of stuff how exhausted they are.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've got good reason to be exhausted. I'm painting floors and cleaning things and finding places for stuff and just rushing around like a mad thing. Because I've got my stuff arriving tomorrow morning from my ex-clinic. And then I'll be all in one place, apart from some home visits, and life will get a little more simple, I'm hoping. I think a lot of people are striving for simplicity at the moment. It's not just me. I'm hearing resonance of it. I mean, I know we hear what we put out, but I just think it feels like that, right?
Oh my God. And you are absolutely bang on point because what Neptune in Aries is all about is challenging us to live our beliefs, not just dream them.
Hmm.
So it's really about embodying, because Aries rules the body, embodying our magic, embodying what we want out of the world, out of our lives, etc. This is really a big thing. And then this solar eclipse is all about kind of the portal of raw, untamed potential coming together like in a cosmic ignition under Alder Moon of strength and resilience. It's the warrior flame. So it's boldly stepping into transformation. So for you, the transformation is to go from having your clinic spread all over the place in different places and bringing it all into that wonderful, what's it called? The little shop of healing.
The healing corner.
The healing corner. I still call it the little shop of horrors in my mind, but it's all about
Yeah,
healing, isn't it?
yeah. There's this thing on the door that says where lovely things live.
Oh, it's just
That the
gorgeous.
previous owners put on there. I think I'm going to keep that because I
Yeah.
have got lovely things. I've put out on the window ledge that faces one of the streets because it's got two big windows. So I've only got two walls to put things on. So I'm going to have to be very careful about placement of stuff. But your calendar is up there, my dear, and it's in the window alongside some crystal balls and a wand and some books and some little crystals and some salt lamp tea light holders and crystal tea light holders. And so I'm having an open day on Monday. No, Sunday. I've got patients. People are now yesterday going, "Can I come and see you? Can I come and work there? Can I?" And I'm going, "Wait, whoa."
Brilliant.
Because I kind of knew this was going to happen. I kind of
Exactly.
felt like this is the calm before the floodgates open, and then it's all going to be woo.
And I love the fact that you're leading with your authentic magical self, June. There's no hiding your witchery. It's right there for
Not
people to
anymore.
see. It's like, here I am, this is who I am, and this is what this space is about. And people are loving it because there's a real appetite for that. And this Neptune coming into Aries is a real call for us to not just dream about a spiritual connection, but to really fight for it, to really wear it, to really step into that kind of Queen of Wands. Here I am. I am embodied magic. And
Yeah,
that is wonderful.
it
I'd
is.
love to, I will have to journey back to York to come and see the little
Yes,
healing corner. Is that
yes.
right?
Healing corner. Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
always be the little shop of healing to me.
So yeah, I mean, what's happening with you? How are things down there in the south?
Well, the South, similarly like you, I mean, most of the nights this week I've gone to bed early because I'm so exhausted. I've been doing an awful lot of healing work, which is fantastic, and I'm very grateful to those who put their faith in me to make them as well as they can be. So that's been wonderful, but I am aware that I might be fighting something off because I did it a couple of days in this school doing exam invigilation, and there were people with really, really bad colds. So I was tissue. I'm on snot watch, as I like to put myself on. So handing out tissues every 5 minutes and making sure people are well. But I feel like there's it's the energy as well. Mercury's still retrograde. That's my ruling planet. That comes out of retrograde when basically Neptune goes into Aries. So, there's never a break with this stuff. But it
The one thing or
there isn't.
another.
No. And I think like last week, I just continued to hear about really challenging things happening to people. And my role in that is just pointing out that in all of the dark, there is always a silver lining. There is always learning once you can get through the
Mm,
emotions, but allow yourself to go through the emotions. It's not about denying them. It's not about medicating them. It's about
mm,
allowing them to come forth and be seen and appreciated and understood. So, yeah, it's been difficult. Something funny this week for me is my best friend was going on about methylene blue. Have you come across this?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I heard about
Yeah.
this probably maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and
Yeah.
hadn't been drawn to it. And then my best friend started using it, and she was like, "Oh, you got to try it. You got to try it." And so I have tried it, and it does have an effect on you, and it definitely is very powerful for, I have found, for centering. It seems to have an incredible impact on my interstitial cystitis, like it's made my bladder a lot better, but it has some uninteresting or rather significant side effects, which I'm just like,
Unwelcome, you mean,
hmm.
like things you didn't really want. Yeah.
Well, yes, and not massive, but enough, and has made me question like the dosage because they give
Yes.
a dosage based on the amount of kilos that you have. And I'm packing pounds at the moment, baby. So I was like, right. And I think my dosage may have been too much, but there isn't a lot of information out there about this substance. So this is not a recommendation to try
No,
methylene blue. May I make that
I'm
very
not going anywhere near it. Just
explicit?
saying.
Tell me why you're not going anywhere near it.
Well, because it's chemicals,
Right.
and
Okay. It
I'd
is.
rather have something made from plants. Thank you very much.
So what
It's
is it
made in a
made from?
chemistry lab. I don't really, we got enough of that shit. I just like steer clear. But I'm interested. I'm curious. I've got a patient who's been taking it and she finds it really good. But she said, yes, the dosage she needed to come down a lot less. Little
Yeah.
tiny, tiny dose. Um, and
Yeah.
apparently can turn your brain blue. So whatever.
The brain, wouldn't the brain be blue anyway? Or I guess it's white, isn't it? Because of the
It's
fat.
only after
But
you're dead you find this out. I do anyway, whatever. I just, you hear stuff and you think, okay, well,
I don't
I
really
don't
care about
need
that.
to do it. I feel I don't feel drawn towards it. And so I think I'll just be a curious bystander.
You can watch my journey. I mean, I've stopped taking it for now because of my side effects, because I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this is a bit,
Mm,
intense. So I'm
mm,
gonna see. But because it made me feel like it had such a positive impact on my bladder and it's made me feel really calm. I was
mhm,
like, oh, I quite like this. I feel like I've kind of reset to how I am ordinarily, whereas
mm.
the beginning of the year was very challenging for me. So that could have just come around anyway, and I could be totally in season. I don't know.
It could be. It could be because I'm quite calm, really.
Yeah.
I haven't been succumbing. I mean, like you said about, embodying our beliefs and emotional healing and feel them and stuff. I mean, but they're really fleeting. My feelings are really fleeting. I'm not dwelling in them like I might have done in the past. But that's partly because I'm really focused on practical, physical things. Once I get the toilet working properly, that's annoying. It's not flushing and it's symbolic, and I know that, but I still, again, I resorted to nasty chemicals yesterday and it didn't make any difference, although it is looking cleaner. It's the slowness of its exodus that is the
So
problem.
there's a block. So you need to get the
Yeah, it's
landlord needs
probably
to get the drains unblocked.
probably a dead rat. Who
Or
knows?
well, it just could be a backup. People could have been dropping sanitary products down there. You just need the drains rotted, and the landlord has to produce that. That's not up to you to keep, like, that's an inherited issue. So I would go back to
Yeah,
them and just say, listen,
yeah,
toilet's not clearing properly. There's a drain blockage. Can somebody come around and sluice out the pipes?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've got a plumber, my plumber, who's going to come and diagnose it for me, and then
Let
I'll
me know if
know.
I'm right.
Yeah, yeah, you're probably, I think you're right. I think you're right. But at the moment, it's working somewhat as long as people don't do anything
Yeah, but
untoward with it.
if
But I don't want that worry, you know.
no, and also when people come to have a healing, we don't know what might get moved. And so generally energy and things does get moved. So,
Do need to have an evacuation procedure.
to let people literally let go of their shit.
Yes,
Comfort
yes, quite
and
exactly
no
right.
fear of it coming back and haunting them.
No,
And
no,
you.
so nothing's coming back. I've got a new plunger and I've got it goes down, but it's just slow.
Yeah, well, that's something, as you know,
I think there's a dead
stuck in
body
there.
in there.
But moving on to, yeah, so Venus has gone into Pisces today. We'll go into a fishy sign. So if you're
Mm,
feeling a bit more emotional and a bit more kind of compassionate towards yourself and others, that is why.
mm.
Venus goes retrograde in Pisces next month and then direct again. So she has a little going on, a little dance. So she must be out of retro. No, she must still be going retrograde.
She's in her dark side at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, she's definitely
She's
is.
she's been in the because when I didn't quite understand how that worked, but for part of the time she's visible in the evening, and then she slips around the back of
And comes
us
up in the morning.
somehow, and then she comes up in the morning.
Mm.
Yeah. So yes, she's quite changeable.
She is. She is. So yeah, and she is still going retrograde. So because she was retrograde in Aries, so she was at 2 degrees when I did the astrology on Monday. So she's slipped back into Pisces. So she'll carry on back into Pisces and then she'll come forward again and go direct. If I look at the calendar, I seem to remember Mercury goes, Venus is still retrograde. She goes direct in Aries on the 13th.
Hmm.
She's retrograde till mid Aries season, really. So she's asking people, well, there's still this flavor of kind of, old relationships coming up, old emotional patterns to be cleared. Oh, another thing that happened to me this week was I have discovered that there's a boarding school survivor course that
Oh.
it's been going since the 80s. Who knew? And
Hmm.
someone told me about it a while ago, and I thought, well, that's interesting because even though I've done loads of therapy, I haven't done it. It's always come up, but I haven't done it specifically with people that who are experts in it. Anyway, there was some toing and froing with the whole thing. Mercury retrograde, the way they were putting it across was making me think maybe I don't want to do this actually after all. I don't know about you, June, but I'm really, really careful over who I allow anywhere near my mental, physical, and spiritual health
Mhm.
because I feel like I know enough already and I don't want to pay for, anyway. I had a
Yeah.
conversation with the lady yesterday, one of the organizers, and it was really interesting and it put my mind at rest that I would get a lot out of a deeper understanding of the implications of sending a child to boarding school, especially me. I was 8, and the boarding school was about it's a male environment and I'm a female, and how allowing women, girls, to go into this male environment and go through puberty in this very male environment, what that felt like and what the
Mm.
impact that has on their self-esteem and, their sense of value. And now I'm fascinated. So I went from thinking, I don't want to do that to, ooh,
Mhm.
when can I go? So
Mhm.
that'll be later on in the year. But there's a whole kind of genre of therapists coming out about this. And I think it's interesting in terms of who's running the country because the whole premise behind all this investigation is looking at the leaders that we have in this country, and the predominance is for privately educated boarders,
Oh, yes.
and the emotional damage that has done to these people, and then you put them in positions of power. So they're
Recipe for disaster.
exactly their need for power as validation and
Yeah.
self-worth is all no wonder they're all dressing up in stockings and sticking oranges in their mouths and being whipped. It's kind of like, not that they are all doing that, but but how does that
They
even
could
come
be. We
about?
don't know, but they could be.
Yeah, but and also I guess also a lot of the people in America in Hollywood that are being exposed, they
Hmm.
tell that they've got these rag to riches stories, but when you look into it any deeper, which Mark Devlin's done on YouTube's fantastic, you discover
Mm.
they're all kind of, come from extremely wealthy backgrounds and probably got sent away to school as well. So it's kind of like this emotional detached leadership where people have violated other people's energies and boundaries and things like
Mm.
that for far
Mm.
too long that we're kind of experiencing the backlash of now. So I find it interesting from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few boarding schools in North America, but they do exist, I think, and people do get sent away from home, or they
Or get
just
sent
get
to the
treated.
UK, June.
Oh, yes, they do, they do. I mean, as you know, I'm a very big fan of Korean dramas, but I'm also very interested in their cultural and, you know, history. I mean, they were shamanic. And the shamanic tradition goes right through from thousands of years ago. And they've just recently had all these forest fires springing up all over the country in a very suspicious manner. And a 1,000-year-old temple is just burnt down. That broke my heart. I did get upset about that and worried for what the reason is for people wanting to burn down all these beautiful forests. And of course, the answer came back minerals under the soil as per. But these are things we can do nothing about. And I know, I mean, and also I'm very upset about children being hurt and damaged anywhere. There's a lovely Korean author who does very passionate Instagram posts. He's written a book that's coming out soon. I really need to get it. He's a Korean Canadian and he's just written this. I mean, honestly, you would think he was a politician. He was having a proper rant about this situation of the children who were basically sold from Korea to all around the world, taken from orphanages, but not just orphanages, taken from actual loving homes where parents didn't even know where they'd gone. I mean, it's a scandal of huge proportion, and it's all part of the child trafficking situation. It's not just happened there, but there is a Truth and Reconciliation Committee, much like there was in South Africa, for trying to sort out the damage done by this kind of thing. And they had a big thing this week about a woman coming home to meet her birth mom. She finally found her birth mom, and there was a big, ec- uh, not an exercise. It was, well, maybe it was an exercise, a big event with the press and loads of emotional stuff coming out there, and he was very emotional about it. It's been a topic in a couple of Korean dramas as well about people trying to find their birth mothers. It's
That's just
quite
awful. But I
quite
think this has
heartrending.
gone on around the world, as you say, this kind of, and do you think this is for the
Yes.
the adrenochrome?
Well, whatever. These children are sold for money by the government, and they are implicated in the companies that ran the adoption agencies have bought loads of real estate with the money they made. It's an absolute disgrace.
That
Absolute
is a
disgrace.
disgrace because so they own land. So
Mhm.
would that be land like, and so we go round the
They
land
could they
bird.
could they could have that land. What he was saying was his Jinwoo Park, by the way, if anybody wants to look him up, he's absolutely lovely. He's a really lovely guy. Although I don't think he's quite on the same page as you and I with some things, but he's very caring and passionate about lots of things. And he said they should really make reparation. They should have their assets seized and that money given to the children who were exported. I mean, it started in the
I
60s.
agree.
It's gone on for decades and it didn't stop. Well, has it even stopped? Who knows? Who knows? It's heartbreaking. But yeah, so these are all things. And of course, I see a lot of people who get very upset by world events because I see a lot of very caring people. And yesterday, when I was doing my volunteering, there was a lot of discussion and disagreement about things and argy-bargy. And I could feel like everybody was like off the ground. They were all up here getting agitated about stuff. So I spent most of the day reconnecting people to the
To
earth.
Earth.
It was so essential.
Well,
And I
yeah,
think that
because
whole thing of finding the sole of your foot and they didn't know what I was talking about at first, but I said I treat quite a few refugees there. And I said, listen, you've been uprooted from your country and you've now got to put down roots here. So you need to really focus on the bottoms of your feet and feel yourselves where you are now. You're going to move again, probably. York isn't their final destination, but there was a lovely guy there who was doing translations for me, which really helped. Really helped.
wow.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I mean the whole where are these refugees from?
Well, they're from various different places. Um, mostly the Middle East. Mostly the Middle East. I have yesterday there were Kurds, and they don't even have a proper country. Um, and Pakistan, and I've seen some Afghani people. There are some Africans, and now there's major civil wars going on in Africa. But the girls that I saw, and I said, come and have a massage, they didn't yesterday, but they might next week. And I'm not sure where in Africa they're from.
It's just
But,
it's
mhm.
so yeah, it's such a that kind of whole business of getting people agitated so that they give off a higher frequency, so their energy is kind of, feeding
Mm,
fear energy is feeding the matrix, empowering the
mhm.
minority.
Yes.
And you've got that going on in what you're talking about. And then, yeah, and there is a lot of that around, understandably, because there's a lot of, people are really being up against the wall. And I have to say, personally, that I feel a frustration about the fact that we take in all these refugees. I do really feel, and also as someone who's gone to live in other countries and knowing that the process I've had to go through to be able to get
Mm,
work, to be able
mm.
to prove that I could afford to be there, I wasn't going to be a burden on society, and kind of the juxtaposition of what happens and the messages that we, England, are sending the rest of the world about our openness and our willingness to help this tiny island, and yet we're not helping the people that actually live here. And
Well, we're not helping the refugees either.
we're
They are
not
being
helping
put
anyone.
through awful situations. It's not helping. It's making them feel good about thinking that they're helping. But this is what you're saying. We got to let go of what we imagine we're doing and look the harsh reality in the
What
face.
we are actually doing,
Yeah.
yes, and be a bit more considerate of, the land, the people here, the kind of the whole vibration of what is Britain, because
Mm,
it's
mm,
completely off and
mm,
it's
mm,
making people terribly poor,
mm.
terribly unhappy. Everyone's being, not everyone, but the middle and the lower classes are being really squeezed.
Yeah.
People are losing benefits that shouldn't be losing
Oh,
benefits, and
yeah.
people are getting benefits that shouldn't be getting benefits, and people are caught in a
Mm,
poverty trap in betwixt the two.
mhm, mhm.
It's just
Well, this is why I'm so glad to be where I am. I'm so
what
glad
in
because I
terms of
feel like where with people that I know who are trying to make a difference and trying to create a sense of community and look after each other because that is where we can make a difference. We can't influence that shit out there. Well, I mean, maybe we can
you
energetically and
can if you're prepared to
prayer and
get up
hope
and
and
do it,
all
like,
that stuff. And you could get involved physically, but I think for most of us, working in our community, doing the good things that we are doing, I think that's the key thing. And that's always been my message to everybody who comes for a mini massage and some healing is that we have to look after each other. Who we find in our immediate circle, that's who we have to look after, where
yeah,
regardless of where they come from or who they are. I mean, I had a guy, the translator guy, he's a hematologist. And he said, I want to learn how to do massage so I can help. And I said, well, I'm not in a teaching role here, but certainly come and help me translate.
It's
But he
just
was very well off back home.
exactly.
He was
And yet,
very well off. And now he finds himself going to charity shops and he's very frustrated and he's not allowed to work. And
yeah,
it's very sad.
two
His
sides to
English is
every
good.
story.
His English is not bad, you know.
But
I
that's
have
the
another
thing.
friend who was born in Germany of American parents, has grown up in York specifically, mostly, and has had four children here, but they're not letting her have a British identity and she can't get a job because she's a foreigner.
This is,
It's madness.
but it's all set up to be madness. That's what it
Yeah.
feels like. It's all set
Yes.
up to kind of like not
Yes.
work.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You have to suffer some more because you're not frightened enough right now. But
But
if we cannot give in to that fear
well,
and
that's what I was
know
going to
that we've
say.
got people who are here to help us if we need them. I've had such a lot of lovely help with my new little place, and I'm ever so grateful. And I've got more people coming at the weekend to help. And yeah, it feels
You're
really.
building a sanctuary, June. It sounds like a sanctuary for your community, which is really invaluable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
blessed be.
Yeah.
So, any wise words before we end about, well, I think we've just given everyone an awful lot of wise words, which they should be very grateful for. But
I
any
wanted
other
to pick
wise
your
words?
brains. I wanted to pick your brains about clearing the space because, speaking of it being a sanctuary, it's 120 years old at least, this
Right.
building.
So, a lot of
And
people.
there's a lot of stuff going on. It may very well have a basement because little corner shops probably had a trap door where stuff was
Yeah, yeah,
stored
yeah, of
down.
course. Have you not found it yet?
No, because it's a sealed floor. I'm not taking up the floor. There's no
No, no, no,
time.
no, no, no.
I'm not
We don't
doing.
need to find it.
And I don't want to let anything out. I've got to kind of, but it hasn't got one of those grills that old houses often do with a window or a coal chute or whatever. It hasn't got any of that. It's that tiny, so it might not. But anyway, I've been round. I've clapped in the corners. I've done my tuning forks.
Sounds very Korean, clapping in the corner.
I don't know where I got that from. It wasn't Korea, but it was somewhere. And but it works. You clear the stuck energy in the corners. I think it's feng shui.
Yeah, and you will wash down the windows.
Oh, I've done that last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
In and
Tamar would
out.
say, put the front door, wash down the front door in basil. Um,
Oh, it's Thursday.
and then it's not Thursday, it's
No, it's
Friday.
not Thursday. It's Friday.
Um,
I don't know
do
what day it is
basil
anymore.
and don't forget to you can make up a witch's ball to hang over the inside, like a glass witch's ball.
I
Um,
don't know what one is. Oh, oh,
I make them, but
do you?
I'm just seeing if I can get my one. I suggest you make your own.
Okay. Oh, now you've disappeared. Okay. Where do you get that? See, I've got some light bulbs that look like that are hanging that the previous shop owners have.
Yeah, but you don't want one that the previous people had.
No. Where
Um,
do I get the balls?
so you can get them from Amazon.
Oh, no.
I knew you were going to say that, but you can get them from Amazon.
I could, but I won't.
You would need to buy a clear glass ball
With the
that
hole in the
you
top.
can make up. Like it would be something that would come from a hobbyist place because you would make it up. So
Yeah.
it's glass or reflective ball. It could be an old Christmas decoration that you have, and then you fill it with iron filings for reflecting out, and if you don't have those, because I didn't put those in there, I put herbs. So I put in things like bay and rosemary and cinnamon and all the healing protective herbs, maybe some holly,
Hmm.
and you would tie that with a red string and suspend it above your door in the inside. So that would protect your threshold. You can bury cinnamon, like I don't know if you've got a doormat that people cross, you could bury some herbs under that, like a bit of cinnamon, a bit of holly or something just under that, so they wouldn't know what they were walking over. You can make holy water by putting a piece of holly in some spring water and leaving it out during a full moon. That will make magical water to cleanse the place. Smudge, obviously, is really powerful. I think it's about, I would open up, I would ground myself in the space and open up a portal, a connection to lower self and higher self, draw everything in and have a pen and paper near me and just really tune in and then ask what's there and what's there that wants to come up that needs to be cleared, write it down, then go around consecrating the space with perhaps holy water smudge, and then burn what I'd written.
Right. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I have also done some Palo Santo around the place as well.
You like Palo Santo, you really have an affinity to the Native Americans, so that,
I
that's
do.
going to work for you.
Mm, I do. But this is good. This is really. What was the other thing about Thursdays then?
Thursdays is Jupiter Day, so it's expansion, it's your message out to the universe, but Mercury is Wednesdays, so that's communication. Jupiter is spiritual expansion and kind of luck. Mercury is communication. Friday is Venus Day, it's the moon, call on the moon. Saturday, you call on Saturn.
Of
Sunday, you call on the
course.
sun,
But there was a thing that Tamar, and Tamar's not with us, and we haven't said how sorry we are she's not with us actually yet.
Well, hopefully it's just a short break while she deals
Yes,
with her
but she's
house
got a
selling and
lot
her
going on
course.
and we're missing her. So we
Yes,
just
we
needed
are.
to mention that. But she did say about cinnamon and was there
Bay,
basil?
Basil.
But there was another one with cinnamon, powdered cinnamon.
Well, she'll have to
Front
come
of-
back and tell us, won't she?
I wrote it down somewhere and now I can't find it. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Basil.
All
Yeah,
righty.
great. Lovely.
Right. Bye. One and all. Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions about anything we said, then please get in touch and we'll be happy to answer them. And if you want a link for anything we said, we've probably forgotten everything we said. We've covered quite a lot of ground, but we'll be happy
Yeah,
to fly those in.
Jinwoo Park I mentioned in Instagram. Lovely. If you want to know about what's happening in Korea, there's lots of stuff about Korea right now all over the place. They've had several disasters, but we love them. They deserve to be happy. That's what I think. Hmm.
On that note, au revoir.
Au revoir.